This is Business and Economy Network.
Hello viewers, glad to know you are watching our program. Welcome to 2016, and on behalf of everybody in the house, I want to say Happy New Year to you. My name remains Peter Umoche. Wherever you are watching, I want to say thank you so very much. I'm not left alone in this program.
Oh, here's the Edna.
Now, those of you watching us in Ghana, South Africa, outside the shores of Nigeria, wherever you are watching, Abuja, Port Harcourt, I want to say thank you so very much. You are on to Business and Economy Network. Well, you remember the president in December last year presented his budget. And what does this portend for Nigeria, Edna?
Well, 2016, it's a viable year, considering the president's desire to diversify into other sectors of the economy, most especially in agriculture, aside oil and gas.
Now, looking at diversification of the Nigerian economy, it portends a whole lot and a whole to everybody, you and I. And that means you and I must be very, very busy. We must not be found wanting. And for the program rundown today, what do we have, please?
On Spotlight, we have the chairman, CEO, Medview Airline Limited. And on special reports, we have the chairman, Ondo State Wealth Creation Agency.
Two unique, outstanding outfits doing very well. One in the aviation sector, while the other one in the agricultural sector. It's going to be an incisive and, again, must watch for you all. Wherever you are, brace yourself up, because you are watching Business and Economy Network. We'll be back after this time out.
Information is very good, right information is very vital, especially to your business. Why not join us on Business and Economy Network, where you learn more about business information.
Well educated and having a diverse background in aviation, the founder of Medview, Morinu Alade Adebowale Bankole, grew up in Lagos under the care and support of humble parents who instilled hard work coupled with religious tenets and diligence into him at an early age. His early life is testimony to the fact that any hardworking individual can reach the zenith in whatever profession he or she chooses. For him, working in various departments in the aviation sector equipped him with the scope of knowledge needed to take the lead in running his own airline in Nigeria.
Munir Alade Adebowale Bankole. I'm a Nigerian, a proud Nigerian. I grew up in Lagos Island. I was born in Lagos. I'm a Lagosian. And with their humble parents, who probably will have been a lesson for those of us who are born without silver spoon, to know that it is not impossible for us to get there, provided we follow the dictates, the principles of our parents' love, the religion's commitment, and all little things, and you'll be able to respect elders and you get there. So I started my elementary school in Lagos, in Sumratu Islamic Schools. I have my secondary education in the West. Started with Ebenezer Grammar School and Adeshola High School. And I went to LASU. I was a class governor in 2 sets in LASU. I did my diploma in law. And I was running my LLB in Part 3 when I was transferred outside the country, because I worked with Nigerians in the 70s. It was a wonderful period when we could look at ourselves as a young cadet officer, because I grew up as a cadet. That's enlarged my scope of knowledge in the aviation industry, where I can tell you that what informed my decision in any time in daily routine of this business, because I've been grown up from the background of knowing what aviation is all about. So I work in cargo departments, I work in ground operation department, I work in operation department, I work in customer service department and traffic. So that's informed me that whatever you bring on board is something I must be able to tell you what has gone through it. And Nigeria Airways being the then national carrier, and Lagos being the hub for all African countries, especially the West African region. We fly daily from Lagos up to Dakar. And we bring all the West African national to Lagos to fly to New York, Rome. They fly to Frankfurt. We take them to Jeddah. We take them to Dubai. It's been a wonderful period. And I was in the middle of the beautiful days at that time. So And the story is still there. I work in West African country as a district manager, and I work in Saudi Arabia as the regional manager overseeing the Middle East, and that's where the journey changes. I was not in my own thinking that people are watching me. All I was doing was my legitimate job and sincerity and commitment to it, and so many interest groups came on me and said, oh boy, you are in Nigeria, but you are different. You need to have a residence in Saudi Arabia, which I hold on to for 20 years now. With my family, I live in Saudi Arabia, and I have a good business in Saudi Arabia. But 10 years ago, to be precise, I thought of bringing something back home. And I thought pilgrimage is one aspect where nobody put interest. And I thought the number of people that participated in airlift operation, in pilgrimage exercise, gets up to 3 million worldwide. So what contribution are we putting in mind to help Nigeria? Because it was not well handled. And we thank the government. In 2006, there was an act of parliament that created the National Commission. There was an Act Commission before, which is nothing to tell people how it went. But the new one, which was created, I think the then first Act Commission chairman, who is currently the Minister of Federal Capital Territory, in person of Alhaji Mohammed Bello, happened a good friend of mine, did a wonderful job, upright person, sincere and committed. He made a new transformation of the exercise, and we could be grateful together that he worked with people like Muniru in Medfield. So that's one of the things that make a change, and we pray we'll sustain that. So that's what we're doing. Then in 2012, we thought of moving into domestic operation to bring back all the knowledge we have over the years, and with few friends who have worked together in Nigeria, who understood the knowledge, the language, the track of this business, came together and started the domestic operation. We're proud today to say we run in 24 flights daily on domestic. We run regional flights, and we're going on to London. And in a couple of days, we'll be moving to Jeddah. And inshallah, we've been given the right for the following countries: Liberia, Freetown, Dakar, already been granted. So we're looking at the first quarter of 2016, by His grace. Everything depends on God, and be able to forge ahead, bringing back the good old days where the African brother can help their own brothers. So that's the game all about.
Nothing surpasses the interest and the commitment that one puts on the souls of pilgrims and other passengers flying from country to country. Constantly monitoring airplanes, no matter where he is, has been one of the duties of the founders of Medview Airline, as the safety of the people aboard the airline is often close to his heart. He believes that the soul of everyone who flies the aircraft is his.
Being in aviation, you can write on record today, is over 35 years. Today, over 35 years to be precise. And running the pilgrimage, I performed it over 32 years. That means, as I'm sitting with you, I performed the Hajj exercise over 32 years. So it does not make any difference to people like me. So about 32 years I've been involved in a pilgrimage. I can tell you precisely one thing that informed my life is to look at the souls that flies aeroplane. So it's part of me. There's a radio in my office, there's a radio in my car, there's a radio in my house. I monitor the aeroplane. This is a tracker. I tell you where the aircraft is at this moment, where they go. And I don't leave this office, like I told my friends, you have to carry this in along in your mind. Now what sustains that aeroplane that flies is who? God Almighty. Because there is no petrol. Saying you are having scarcity on the ground. An aircraft cannot have scarcity in the sky. Neither can an aircraft have a mechanical issue in the sky. Everything is being taken care of by God Almighty. So that informed my passion, that the souls that fly at every time I wake up is like me. So I must be caring about them like myself. So what you see me doing on the RAM, I call it RAM check, to ensure that everybody that works along this business are in compliance. I check out the captain, and I check the maintenance people, and I check the ground personnel, I check the ticketing, I walk around. And that's been my routine, so that you not just sit on this backside and say everything is going well. Human being, we need a proper check. And for you to run a business of this nature, you must not ordinarily be crazy or be hard on people. You must also make them to realize that they are committed to this business. Otherwise, they don't have any business to be with you. Because it's not a difference you find on the ground. That's totally different business entirely. So, and we have a zero tolerance on our departure business, reliability, everything. We sustain it by telling ourselves at 7 o'clock is 7 o'clock. They have a choice. They can go any airline of their choice. We are not the only airline flying. But what we are selling is that zero tolerance, because people have value for their time. 7 is 7. And 8:50 is 8:50, 12 is 12, 11 is 11. We can't compromise this. And the aircraft must be clean, neat, safe. We don't talk about it. And that's why we thank God today. It's sincerity in our mind. He has sustained that with us. We don't compromise. We don't even talk. An aircraft due for check. We have a routine of 2A, 4A, 8A. We don't fly that airplane. And we only apologize to you by sending you a text message. Your flight has been rescheduled, due ABC. And if you don't understand, we give apology to God only. So that is our sincerity of it. Because we want to go clean and get nothing on our head when we get to call. That's the beauty.
It is time that people feel relaxed at airports when safety and security is ensured. Much people will begin to view airports not as a place where travelers meet to disperse, but a place where they can meet to have a meaningful network purpose. On the other hand, to fully realize the potentials of airports, governments have to let investors take care of airline businesses.
Anyway, let me tell you that in UK today, there are 4 airports. Not only London, Heathrow, not only Gatwick, they have Stansted, they have Central Airport. But the beauty of it, don't forget, average Nigerians, average African nationals. If you go to Crawlings, for instance, you find the nationals of Gambians, Ghanaians, you find a lot of people up there. And don't forget, it's another gateway to UK. So I realized that Heathrow is becoming congested. That's number one. Number two, the cost of operation in Heathrow is very high because of the demand for slots. Okay? And many airlines continue to hit the wall there because you can't get the space. Every terminal is there. You have terminal 4, terminal 3, terminal 5. And what again that makes me happy is that the Gatwick Airport is bought by the Nigerian, Ogunlesi. So I now said, this is a Nigerian man. I don't meet him, but he comes in and I go on my own side. But the fact remains that he's an African man like me, a Nigerian who thought in his own imagination to come and invest money. Maybe that will help him tomorrow to come and invest better in Nigerian airport if we encourage him better. Because airport business, like I did tell people, is just for investors. It's not the business of government. You can see the airport worldwide, clean, nice tourism place where people can go in the night, take some little booze here and there, interact with your colleague, look at the aircraft landing, take off, spend $10, $20. It's a lot of money in the night. People gather around and drive back home. That's what happened in the past. That people who live in Mavoluku, Ajawa Estate, everywhere within the airport neighborhood, when they don't have light or NEPA, they don't miss anything. They ended up in the airport to spend the night and they go back home to sleep. But those things are dead now. So you don't find anybody going out. You have every security at the airport that you can go to the bar, a lot of outing, snacks, you can have some nice with your children so that they don't miss the issue of light or NEPA or anything. So, but we hope we are getting back there gradually.
Africans work hard wherever they are and they keep pushing for whatever they want. This is one thing that informs Medview flights to other West African countries because Africans love to connect and mix cultures in a bid to bring out different flavors. Medview Airline is prepared to ensure that these activities are sustained. Despite having several challenges, the airline is having a good measure of success.
We have been there. We fought our way to tell ourselves that we should begin the journey to the West African country. Because an African, when you go outside the world, we have one common thing, we look like each other. Before you can see, in a traditional setting, you hardly find out that where are these African people all over the world. We are there, we work like slaves, we want to make money to bring back home to get our family better. But at the same time, we are highly intelligent. We are resourceful people, we are there worldwide. I don't want to tell you, we are blessed. Like I told you, I work in Saudi Arabia. My friends, the Arab people could always rely to tell me, we don't run away. We keep pushing to get to where we want to go, and that's what has given us the courage. The good thing about West African countries, let me tell you, take it from Cotonou all the way down to Dakar. It's all on the coastline. It's a window for tourism, but we don't have it. But if you go to some other countries, like in Lisbon, all the coastlines are well like a tourist place. And same other countries, like in Uruguay, I was there. Nothing they do anything, they go to the beach, they enjoy their life. So we need to go back to this. That will reduce crime. That will bring back the good glory when we have the waterfront in Lagos, where we go in the night with our girlfriend to sit by the coast water, just to chat and discuss our life. The beauty of West Africa today is that you have different African flavor. Live in Ghana today, you love to be there. Live in Dakar, you love to be there. Go to Guinea, you love to be there. You get something to take back to your home. And that makes your education, your knowledge, your traveling way to develop this. So we've decided to go on the Nigerian Airways route. We're in Ghana on a daily basis. We operate 7:15 to Accra, and we return back 10 o'clock every day. We have been consistent on that route. And we want to tell our African brother by this medium, what I've told the Ghanaian DG, Civil Aviation, the then was that I understood they've changing, was that you should not be thinking to bite your African brother. You should be thinking to develop the African market together. Because they gave me a hard time for no reason, telling me that there is 5 Nigerian airlines flying into their country. None of their own is flying. They will refuse to grant me the right because we too will refuse to grant them the right. I said, what are you talking? So thank God, and our Nigerian High Commissioner, who was very humble and nice guy, told me, say, Munir, let us do what we can do to give these people a piece of life. And we did that. And I offer him to tell their own people to come and join and share the experience of this business. It's better for an African man to partner with an African airline to do the same thing for the benefit of African people. Because the other one have not put in anything back. Find out everywhere, European airline, American airline, they are hopping everywhere in Africa. And they are not dropping anything. They just up and take and go and do nothing. No investment, no nothing. So that's the window. This is the market, Africa. And if African people can be reasonable under the banner of OAU or Africa or whatever languages we call ourselves, we should think on African in anything we are doing. So we are setting up Liberia. We got it right. We are Freetown, we are there, and we are in Dakar now. So we are closing up all this network. So that in Mali, we have dropped our papers. So we are looking at what to do now to begin to bring them back. Now that we are going to London, bring you from UK, take you home. And take you from your home, bring you and take you to UK. And that's our mission. And we are getting there closely.
Created by the State Governor Olusegun Mimiko in 2009, Ondo State Wealth Creation Agency had at its focus empowering the people of the state. Most especially, the youths in Ondo State now have a better chance to become involved in the wealth creation and also helping to generate more income opportunities through skills for the youths of the state.
Ondo State Wealth Creation Agency was established by the Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko. This agency was established in 2009 as soon as Dr. Olusegun Mimiko came on board as the Governor of Ondo State, and it was established for the purpose of finding ways to create wealth for the people of the state, in particular to see how we can ensure that the youths are involved in job creation in the state, the youth are involved in income generation, and how we can give them the skills and opportunities available to be able to, create wealth for themselves.
After taking into consideration several sectors, stakeholders decided to work with the primary sector involved in wealth creation. Challenges involved also include determining what part of the labor would key into the wealth creation strategy. However, one thing was evident in 2009 all over Nigeria. The youth were no longer getting their fair share of employment. Hence, the need for the wealth creation program in Ondo State to be focused on the younger generations in that state.
The main question we had to ask ourselves in 2009 was, how can we ensure that people of Ondo State can create wealth for themselves? How can we as government, bring the opportunities of job creation to the people? And we said we needed to be focused. And so what we decided to do was we looked at the different sectors available in the country, and we identified that key sector that we felt could help us generate wealth, number one. The second issue was we had to identify which of the labor force, which people should we really concentrate on. And that was why at the end of the day, we decided to look at focusing on our youths, because of course, even as far back as 2009, we had already started feeling the gradual increase in youth unemployment in the country, and we needed to be prepared for it. So we focused on our youths, particularly graduates of Ondo State, and then we looked at the sector and decided to focus on agriculture, because we felt that agriculture is the only sector, apart from our oil sector, that could embrace the large number of youths out there. And so that was why we decided that our main aim of the Wealth Creation Agency will be focusing on youth development in agriculture, using agriculture as a tool for wealth creation in the state.
Agriculture today seems to be the focal point of the nation's economy. However, the populace is still tied much to the perspective of subsistence farming. Ondo State Wealth Creation Agency decided to rebrand the agricultural sector in the state so as to make it attractive to youths through training and other youth-related infrastructure. This led to creation of 4 different agro-business cities in the state.
Well, the Wealth Creation Agency has a strategy. So we've identified what we wanted to do, which is to use agriculture as a means of creating wealth for the people, particularly our youths. Once we identified that, we said, how are we going to get that done? Unfortunately, we still have the perspective of agriculture as how it was done in the olden days. Our fathers used to carry out the agricultural practices. We talk about hoe and cutlass. We talk about, the vision we had of agriculture was a young man in tattered clothes, looking haggard, going to the farm, or a woman with a baby on her back, carrying a basket of yam on her head. Unfortunately, those images have been what they've used for agriculture in Africa, not just in Nigeria. And so we needed to look at how we can change the image of agriculture, rebrand agriculture, let people, particularly our youth, realize that big men and women, you can get rich, you can get comfortable by going into agriculture. So one of the things we looked at was how we rebrand agriculture, and it's a very important mandate that we have at WECA, rebranding agriculture. And then we now said, okay, what can we give them to be able to rebrand agriculture? So we set up 4 agro-business cities. In the time past, it was called farm settlements, but we don't want to use that. We said what we want is agro-business cities. These are agric and agro-allied, activities that can be done in a business environment. So we're talking about agriculture and agri-business. So that was how we came up with agro-business cities, and we have 4 of them. The first one you mentioned is at Ore. Ore is a major cosmopolitan city in Ondo State. We also have, and it's our model agribusiness city. We also have 3 others, one in the central Senatorial District, and then 2 in the northern Senatorial District, Owo and Auga in Akoko North. So we have Ore, agribusiness cities, Ekpe, agribusiness city, Ishwada, agribusiness city, and Auga, agribusiness cities. These business cities are meant to provide the necessary infrastructure that we need for agri development in the state. And so we have large expanse of land. Ore alone has 3,500 hectares of land. The other agribusiness cities, between them, have 4,000 hectares of land. And the idea is that on this land, we have infrastructural development, we have hostel accommodation for our, we call them pro-farmers. We're still talking about the rebranding. The youths that are engaged in our program are called professional farmers, pro-farmers, or entrepreneurs, which we call agropreneurs.
Viewers, I want to say thank you so very much. I know the program has really been very, very incisive. Well, I don't have anything to say. Edna?
Well, I want to advise us that as we make New Year resolutions, be careful not to do the same old things because there will be no change.
All right, be careful not to do the same old things because there will be no change. This is where we draw the wrap of the program. Tomorrow, they say, is another day. Stay blessed.